In How to Talk to Anyone, communication expert Leil Lowndes reveals 92 simple yet powerful techniques to build confidence, spark instant connections, and become more charismatic in any situation. Whether you want to excel at work, make new friends, or master small talk, this book offers practical tools you can use immediately. In this video from Detailed Book Summaries, we unpack the best tips and insights from Lowndes' bestseller, so you can boost your social skills, win people over, and create lasting relationships. If you want more guides on personal development and communication, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join our growing community. In How to Talk to Anyone, communication expert Leil Lowndes shares 92 simple, proven strategies to help you connect instantly, build rapport, and boost your confidence in any social situation. Whether you're networking at work, making small talk at parties, or trying to deepen relationships with friends and loved ones, this book gives you the tools to succeed without awkwardness or fear. In this video from Detailed Book Summaries, we break down Lowndes' most powerful tips so you can learn how to be more charismatic, likable, and influential. If you want to master the art of conversation and transform your relationships, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new summary. In How to Talk to Anyone, communication coach Leil Lowndes reveals 92 powerful, practical tricks to instantly connect with people, build trust, and leave a lasting impression. Whether you're at work, meeting new friends, or navigating tricky social situations, this isn't about fake charm. It's about simple habits you can practice today to become more confident, persuasive, and likable in every conversation. In this video from Detailed Book Summaries, we unpack Lowndes' most impactful strategies so you can improve your communication skills, spark authentic connections, and achieve big success in your relationships. If you're ready to level up your social life, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next summary. Chapter 1. The Fleeting Smile. Making a powerful first impression without saying a word. Before you ever say a single word, the people around you have already judged you. They've looked at your face, scanned your posture, picked up on your energy, and made up their minds about who you are and whether you're worth their time. First impressions aren't just important, they're decisive. In seconds, people mentally tag you as warm, cold, awkward, confident, trustworthy, or not. That's exactly why Leil Lowndes opens this book with one of the most disarming, human, and effective techniques you can ever use, what she calls the fleeting smile. Most people think smiling instantly makes them seem friendly. And yes, smiles matter. But here's the secret. It's how you smile that makes all the difference. If you walk into a room with a big automatic grin slapped on your face, it can feel fake, robotic even. People sense when you're just smiling to be polite, and it actually weakens their perception of your confidence and sincerity. But the fleeting smile is different. Starts with eye contact. Not in a creepy staring contest kind of way, just that split-second moment where your eyes genuinely find the other person's. And then you pause. Just a heartbeat. Not too long. Just enough to let your brain and body align. And then you let the smile appear slowly, naturally, as if it were a personal reaction to seeing that one person, not a performance for the room. This slow, intentional smile tells them everything they need to know. I see you. I like what I see. I'm glad we're meeting. And the craziest part? All of this is communicated before a single word is spoken. Leil points out something crucial here. When people see a smile that comes too quickly, one that flashes before genuine eye contact, it feels rehearsed. We've all experienced that moment when someone beams at us with wide eyes and an eager smile, and it just feels off. Like customer service, not connection. The power of the fleeting smile lies in its subtlety. It's slow. It's focused. It's real. When someone receives it, they feel like the smile was meant for them and no one else. That's what builds instant trust. That's what makes you magnetic in a crowd. This isn't just fluff either. There's neuroscience behind it. Our brains are constantly reading micro-expressions. A genuine smile involves more than the mouth. It includes the muscles around the eyes, what scientists call the Duchenne smile. It's the only type of smile that triggers a genuine warm response in the brain. And the fleeting smile is your fast track to triggering that in someone else. Lowndes is clear about something else too. Don't overuse it. The beauty of this technique lies in its intentionality. You use it at introductions, first encounters, those make or break moments where impressions are being formed. If you do it with everyone all the time, it starts to lose its power, and worse, it might come off as manipulative. Think of it like this: you're not just smiling. You're anchoring a moment. You're telling the other person, out of all the noise, I'm fully present with you. And whether it's a professional meeting, a social gathering, or even a casual encounter in line for coffee, that kind of presence is rare. And people remember it. This is trick number 1. The first of 92. But it sets the tone for everything that follows, because once you learn how to connect without even saying a word, you're ready to master every other layer of communication Leil is about to unpack. Chapter 2. Sticky Eyes. How to make people feel like the only one in the room. If Chapter 1 was all about the perfect smile, Chapter 2 is all about the eyes. And not just any glance, but the kind of eye contact that makes someone feel deeply seen, heard, and important. Leil Lowndes calls this technique sticky eyes. And it might just be the easiest way to make someone instantly feel special without saying a single word. Think about it. When someone looks at you while you're speaking, really looks at you, not darting their eyes, not scanning the room behind you, not checking their phone, but holding their gaze on you like your words actually matter. How does that feel? Feels rare. Feels meaningful. And that's exactly the kind of impression sticky eyes creates. Most people don't maintain eye contact well. They flinch. They glance away. They treat it like a staring contest they're afraid to lose. But Lowndes flips this. She explains that when you keep your eyes locked with someone, not aggressively, not stiffly, but warmly and attentively, it makes them feel like they're the only person that matters in that moment. Here's the trick. Don't break eye contact the second the person finishes speaking. Most people do. But the magic of sticky eyes happens after their last word. You pause. Hold the gaze for just a moment longer. That pause, that millisecond of delay, it sends a signal that says, I'm thinking about what you just said. I value your words. I'm with you. It doesn't matter whether you're at a networking event or on a date. Sticky eyes creates intensity, and intensity creates connection. Of course, Leil gives a warning. This isn't about locking eyes like a robot. It's not about being so intense you freak someone out. Context matters. You want your eyes to be warm, soft, and interested, not cold, unblinking, or invasive. And in intimate settings, say a romantic conversation, this technique can be powerful. But in business or formal settings, dial it back. Keep it comfortable. Think connection, not interrogation. She also points out that this technique isn't just for listening. When you're speaking, holding eye contact sends the message that you're confident in what you're saying. You're not looking away in hesitation or self-doubt. You're present. You're composed. You're in control. Sticky eyes is one of those subtle skills that separate charismatic people from everyone else. When someone speaks to you and you make them feel like you're completely tuned in, no distractions, no wandering attention, no impatience, you build a bridge. A bridge of trust and rapport that starts in the eyes and often ends in real relationships, real opportunities, and real influence. Leil encourages you to practice it everywhere. At the grocery store, during casual chats, even with strangers you briefly meet. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes. And the more you'll start to notice something remarkable. People will lean in, open up, and remember how you made them feel. Because in a world where most people can't keep their attention on anything for more than a few seconds, sticky eyes becomes a superpower. Chapter 3: Epoxy Eyes. Creating a magnetic presence through eye contact in group settings. So you've nailed the smile. You've mastered eye contact one-on-one. But what happens when you walk into a room full of people? A party, a meeting, a group conversation where you want to shine, not fade into the background. That's where Leil Lowndes introduces the next level technique, epoxy eyes. It builds on what you learned in Chapter 2 but raises the stakes. Epoxy eyes isn't just about connection. It's about command. It's about making someone feel like you've glued your attention to them, and in doing so, everyone else in the room notices. It's subtle power. And it's incredibly effective. Here's how it works. Imagine you're telling a story in a group. Most people make the mistake of scanning the room, bouncing their eyes from one face to another, trying to include everyone. It sounds inclusive, right? But in reality, it waters down the connection. You don't leave a lasting impression on anyone. Now picture this. Instead of glancing at everyone, you lock eyes with one person while you tell the story. You stay with them. You deliver the punchline, the details, the emotions, all as if they're the only one listening. Then, once you finish that thought or the first part of the story, you shift. You turn to another person, and now it's their turn. You glue your eyes on them and continue. That's epoxy eyes. Why does this work so well? Because when you direct all your verbal and nonverbal energy toward one person at a time, it makes your message feel personal, intentional, and intimate. Everyone in the group starts to lean in, wanting to be the one you focus on next. And when they do get that attention, it feels like a reward. You're not talking at a crowd, you're connecting through it, one person at a time. It's a technique actors and powerful speakers use all the time. Because human connection doesn't happen in bulk, it happens one person at a time. And when you're able to hold someone in your gaze while you speak, especially in front of others, it gives you an almost magnetic presence. Leil shares one more twist to this tactic. When you're listening in a group setting, say you're not the one talking, and someone says something funny, important, or bold, don't laugh at the joke while looking at the speaker. Laugh while looking at someone else in the group. This is next-level influence. Why? Because it creates a sense of shared experience. As if you and that other person have an inside moment, a mutual reaction, a mini bond within the group. It's playful. It's social glue. It makes people want to connect with you. But just like the previous chapters, context and balance matter. Don't overdo it. Don't stare too long and don't make it awkward. The key is warmth, rhythm, and control. Use epoxy eyes to create focus and draw people in, not to intimidate or dominate. In the end, what Leil Lowndes is building across these first 3 chapters is this. Eye contact isn't just polite behavior. It's social strategy. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time or commanding attention in a crowd, your eyes set the tone for every interaction. And when used deliberately, they don't just see, they signal confidence, connection, and charisma. So next time you walk into a room, don't just look around. Choose who gets your gaze, and use it to build something unforgettable. Chapter 4. Hansel's Technique. Leaving a verbal trail that makes you memorable. Now that your eyes are doing the heavy lifting, smiling, sticking, and creating chemistry, it's time to tackle the part of communication that can make or break your social presence. Your words. Specifically, what you say before the real conversation even starts. That's where Leil Lowndes introduces a charming little tool she calls Hansel's Technique. And no, it's not about breadcrumbs in the forest, but it kind of works the same way. Here's the idea. In the fairy tale, Hansel dropped breadcrumbs so he could find his way back. Lowndes flips that. She wants you to drop conversational breadcrumbs, little nuggets of information that give other people something to pick up later, something to comment on, something to hook into. These tiny details act like subtle magnets for meaningful conversation. Let's say you're walking into a room, shaking hands, making small talk. Most people stick with the bland basics. How are you? What do you do? Nice weather, huh? Boring. Forgettable. The kind of stuff that evaporates as soon as it's said. But what if you greeted someone and casually added, I just came from the most chaotic coffee shop ever. The barista was singing opera. Or, I almost didn't make it here, my dog stole my car keys. Or even something as simple as, you wouldn't believe the strange podcast I was just listening to. These aren't full-on stories. They're seeds, teasers, breadcrumbs. You don't go into detail. You just drop them and then move on. And here's the magic. People can't help but pick them up. Wait, your dog stole your car keys? They ask. What podcast was it? Opera? Seriously. With that, the door to real conversation swings wide open. Hansel's technique works because it solves a very real social problem. People want to connect, but they don't know how. They're looking for cues. They're waiting for something, anything, that gives them permission to step beyond the surface and say something real. Breadcrumbs do just that. They're social permission slips. Leil Lowndes is laser-sharp about the power of being strategically interesting. Not loud, not boastful, but just interesting enough that someone can follow the trail and start a real conversation. The more effortless you make it for someone to talk to you, the more confident and charismatic you seem. And there's another bonus. Breadcrumbs make you memorable. Hours later, when they're scanning back through the people they met, they might forget your name, but they'll remember the dog with the keys or the barista singing Puccini. You stand out. The trick is to keep it light. No oversharing. No launching into long-winded stories unless invited. Think of yourself like a Netflix trailer. You're dropping a teaser, not the full movie. And it's not just for new people. This works with bosses, clients, dates, even friends. Want to make your updates more engaging? Drop in a Hansel moment. Want to stand out during small talk? Drop a verbal breadcrumb. Here's the takeaway. Every interaction is a door. You can walk in with silence, or you can sprinkle breadcrumbs and give people something to follow. It's not manipulation. It's communication with intent. Lowndes makes it clear. Charisma doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being easy to connect with. Breadcrumbs make that happen. Chapter 5. The Big Baby Pivot. Playing up approachability without dimming your power. Now we're moving into the fascinating psychology behind how you present yourself. Not just what you say or how you look, but the vibe you give off before you even open your mouth. In this chapter, Leil Lowndes drops a surprising strategy that helps you instantly disarm people, get them to warm up to you fast, and make you seem like someone they want to talk to. She calls it the Big Baby Pivot. Strange name? Maybe. But it's brilliant once you understand the science behind it. Here's what it means. When you walk into a room, whether it's a party, a meeting, or a networking event, don't walk in like a soldier on a mission. Don't burst through the door like you're about to conquer the world. That kind of confidence, while powerful, can be intimidating, even off-putting. Instead, Lowndes says walk in like a big baby, literally. Imagine a toddler just learning to walk. Curious, observant, a little unsure, wide-eyed. They don't charge in. They look around, they soften their steps, they show vulnerability. And guess what? People love that energy. It makes you feel approachable. It signals humility. And it draws others in. Now, this doesn't mean you should act childish. It's about adopting a mindset and body language that says, I'm confident, but I'm also open. You're not storming in with a look at me attitude. You're entering the space with warmth, attention, and subtle curiosity. Psychologists have long confirmed what Leil is tapping into here. Our brains are wired to respond to childlike traits, not immaturity, but expressions of vulnerability and openness. Things like big eyes, a slight tilt of the head, a relaxed face. These things cue people to feel more comfortable with you. They lower defenses. So when you enter the room, don't throw your shoulders back like a superhero. Instead, soften your gaze. Let your eyes slowly scan the room. Tilt your head just a bit. Even smile slightly, but not that forced, all-teeth corporate grin. Think warm, natural, like you're quietly glad to be there. Why does this work? Because first impressions happen in seconds. People are scanning you just like you're scanning them. If you enter with intensity, they might keep their guard up. But if you come in like a big, friendly, composed baby, they instantly relax. This technique becomes even more powerful when paired with the tricks from earlier chapters. Smile slowly. Make epoxy eye contact. Drop a breadcrumb. You're not just showing up, you're inviting connection. You're shaping how people feel about you before you say a single word. Leil even points out how this approach has helped people in high-stakes business situations. CEOs, public speakers, politicians, they've learned that leading with strength and approachability is a game changer. It makes you feel both powerful and relatable. People trust you. They want to hear what you have to say. And they're more likely to remember you. So next time you walk into a room, don't think, how can I dominate this space? Think, how can I melt into it just enough to make others comfortable with me? Be confident, yes, but be human too. Confidence without approachability creates walls. But confidence with warmth? That's where the magic happens. Lowndes calls it the Big Baby Pivot. You'll call it your new secret weapon. Chapter 6. Hello, old friend. The instant connection trick you've never tried. Have you ever noticed how effortlessly some people strike up conversation like they've known the other person for years, even if they just met? They laugh together, trade stories, and instantly feel familiar. It doesn't happen by accident. In this chapter, Leil Lowndes reveals a simple yet powerful mindset shift called, Hello, old friend. And once you start using it, every new connection starts to feel natural, even effortless. Here's how it works. When you meet someone new, instead of approaching them like a stranger, imagine you already know them. Picture that they're someone you haven't seen in years. A childhood buddy, college classmate, a neighbor from the past who's just walked back into your life. You don't say any of this out loud. You don't fake familiarity. You simply adjust your internal vibe. You let your tone of voice, your facial expression, your body language all carry a little warmth, a little ease, like you're genuinely happy to see them again. Not in a cheesy, over-the-top way. Just that low-key glow people naturally give off when they recognize someone they like. It sounds subtle, but it's wildly effective. Because here's what most people do wrong when meeting someone new. They tense up. They get formal. Their voice gets a little too stiff. Their handshake a little too forced. They act like a salesperson on a first pitch, carefully polite, but emotionally distant. That energy can be polite, yes, but it's also forgettable. Now contrast that with what happens when you treat someone like an old friend. Your voice softens. Your eyes warm up. Your smile becomes genuine. You lean in a little. You act like someone who's already comfortable. And when you feel that way, the other person picks up on it and reflects it right back. Leil isn't encouraging fakery here. It's not about pretending or manipulating. It's about learning how to access that natural warmth that we all have inside us, without waiting for a real past to trigger it. Most people reserve their most authentic selves for people they already know. But what if you started giving just a little bit of that to someone new? That's the magic of Hello Old Friend. It bypasses the awkward stage of small talk. It melts away social stiffness. It tells people, I feel safe with you, without you ever saying it. And the result? They feel safe with you too. And it works everywhere. From job interviews and conferences to first dates or even casual encounters at the gym. When you approach people with that old friend energy, you stop being a stranger. You start being a presence. A moment. Someone they won't forget. In fact, people might leave the conversation wondering, have we met before? They'll feel like they should know you because you made them feel known. That's power. The best part? You can start doing this immediately. It doesn't require practice, scripts, or tricks. Just one decision to shift your mindset. Before you shake that hand or say that hello, ask yourself, what would change if I treated this person like I've known them for years? You'll notice the difference in their response. The way they lean in. The way they relax. The way the conversation opens up instead of stalling. And once you experience it, you'll never go back to hi, nice to meet you, the old way again. Chapter 7. Limit the fidget, the power of stillness in first impressions. We've all been there, nervously tapping a foot, adjusting our collar, glancing around the room. These little habits might seem harmless, but in Chapter 7, Leil Lowndes explains how they could be silently sabotaging our presence and credibility. She calls this principle limit the fidget, and it's a game changer for mastering nonverbal confidence. Here's the truth. When you meet someone for the first time, your body starts speaking before your mouth does. And what it says matters a lot. We all want to appear confident, calm, and collected. But if your hands are fluttering, your knee is bouncing, or your eyes are darting, your body sends a totally different message. I'm nervous, unsure, or overwhelmed. Even if you say the right words, people won't fully hear them. Why? Because your body is louder. Your fidgeting distracts from your message. Worse, it creates discomfort. People may not consciously know why they're uneasy, they just feel it. Lowndes breaks it down simply, powerful people are still. They move deliberately. They don't waste motion. Watch a seasoned executive walk into a room. Their movements are calm, grounded, minimal. They don't fidget because they don't need to. That stillness signals control, authority, confidence. So how do you achieve this kind of presence? You start by becoming aware of your habits. Do you click pens? Rub your hands? Shift your weight constantly from foot to foot? Most people have no idea they're doing it. But once you start observing yourself in a mirror, in meetings, or on camera, you'll start to notice the patterns. The solution isn't to become a statue. It's to move with intention. If you gesture, do it purposefully. If you shift positions, let it be slow and fluid, not jittery. When you speak, pause sometimes. Let silence do its work. Silence is powerful. It commands attention and creates space for your words to land. Lowndes gives this brilliant little trick. Before you enter any interaction, a meeting, a party, even a phone call, take 3 slow, deep breaths and center yourself. Ground your feet. Relax your shoulders. Let your hands fall still. That few seconds of physical calm can completely change your energy. The benefit isn't just how others perceive you, it's how you feel about yourself. When you limit the fidget, you become more focused. You're not scattered. You're not spilling energy everywhere. You hold yourself in a way that says, I'm present. I'm in control. And I'm worth listening to. And people do listen. Because when your body says you're calm and in command, they lean in. They feel safe. They trust you. And you become the kind of person others remember. It's amazing what happens when you simply still your body. You become more magnetic, more trustworthy, more powerful without saying a word. Chapter 8. Come hither, hands, let your palms do the talking. Body language speaks long before our lips ever do. And in Chapter 8, Leil Lowndes zeroes in on one of the most underrated tools in your communication toolbox. Your hands. More specifically, your palms. Now you may think, palms? Really? But stick with this. Because the way you use your hands, especially when you first meet someone, can be the silent difference between trust and tension, between openness and guardedness. Leil calls this strategy come hither, hands. And once you get it, you'll never greet people the same way again. Think about this. When someone talks to you with their hands hidden, clenched, or shoved deep in their pockets, how does that make you feel? Maybe a little suspicious? A bit uneasy? That's no coincidence. From our primitive wiring to modern psychology, open palms are universally seen as a sign of honesty and safety. When someone shows their palms, it tells our brain, this person isn't hiding anything. I'm safe. That's why when people swear an oath or testify in court, they instinctively raise their right hand, palm exposed. It's a deeply human signal of trust. So here's the trick. When you meet someone, when you talk, when you're trying to connect, let your palms show. Not in an awkward, robotic way. Just naturally. Gesture with open hands. Rest them on the table with palms up. Avoid crossing your arms or stuffing your hands into your pockets. Let them see that you're relaxed, open, and fully present. Leil shares that even a small flash of palm during a handshake or a conversation can subconsciously put people at ease. Says, I'm not a threat. I'm here to connect. That openness builds a bridge fast, especially in those critical first few moments of interaction. And here's something fascinating. When you combine open palms with steady eye contact and a warm smile, you become exponentially more approachable. It's like a silent invitation. Come in. You're welcome here. That's why it's called come hither, hands. Your body is extending an unspoken invitation that says, you can trust me. But there's a flip side to this too. If your palms are hidden behind your back, under a table, tucked tightly into your sides, it can unconsciously send the message that you're closed off, nervous, or withholding something. You might not mean to communicate that, but your body does it for you. And people pick up on that. Not always consciously, but viscerally. They'll sense a wall even if they don't know why. That's why this one small shift, opening your hands, can have such a massive impact on how people receive you. Here's a simple challenge. For the next few days, watch your hands. Observe how you move them when you meet someone, when you speak, when you sit at a table. Then try flipping your gestures literally. Let your palms show. Be open. Be inviting. You'll notice something incredible. People will start to relax around you faster. They'll listen more closely. They'll feel like they can trust you. And trust is the currency of every great relationship, personal or professional. So the next time you walk into a room, meet someone new, or pitch your big idea, let your hands do the silent heavy lifting. Let them say without a single word, I'm real. I'm safe. I'm here for connection. Chapter 9. Hello, old friend. How to create instant warmth with a stranger. You walk into a room and lock eyes with a stranger. Your instinct is to stay cool, stay neutral, stay professional. But what if, instead of approaching them like a total stranger, you acted like you were greeting a dear old friend? That's exactly what Leil Lowndes wants you to do in this chapter. And it might be the easiest way to instantly shift your social presence from cold to magnetic. The trick is simple. Pretend the person you're about to meet is someone you adore, someone you haven't seen in ages, someone you're genuinely thrilled to reconnect with. This subtle mindset shift triggers a powerful chain reaction in your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, and people feel that difference without you saying a word. Leil calls this the hello old friend technique, and it's more than just a mental game. It's a psychological shortcut to instant rapport. When you truly believe you're greeting someone familiar and well-loved, your face softens, your smile becomes sincere, and your tone warms up automatically. It's not about what you say but how you say it, and that makes all the difference. Here's what naturally happens when you put this technique into action. First, your facial warmth kicks in. Your eyes light up, your eyebrows lift just enough to show surprise and happiness, and your smile becomes real. Not the forced professional kind, but the kind that shows up when you're genuinely glad to see someone. That authentic facial expression puts others at ease instantly. Next, your voice softens. You don't bark out, "Hi, I'm Ernest," like it's a business pitch. Instead, your tone drops slightly, slows down, and carries warmth, like you're glad to see them. It's subtle, but it has a calming, inviting effect on the person you're speaking to. People are drawn to warmth, not perfection. Then comes your body language. Without trying, your posture opens up. You lean in just slightly. Your shoulders relax. You look approachable, like someone who's comfortable and confident. You're not just another stranger anymore. You're someone safe to talk to. That feeling builds trust before a single real conversation begins. This isn't a one-off technique either. You can apply it everywhere: walking into a job interview, joining a video call, meeting your date, networking at a conference. Wherever there's a stranger, there's an opportunity to turn them into someone who feels like a friend, even if only for a moment. The beauty of "Hello, old friend" is that it doesn't require memorizing lines or putting on an act. It's natural, it's warm, and it's human. It works because people can feel when you're genuinely interested in them. Even though your brain knows you're faking familiarity, your body doesn't. And the other person's subconscious responds with openness and comfort in return. Lowndes points out that charismatic leaders and highly likable people often aren't born with some magical trait. They're just masters of this technique. They give off the vibe that they're happy to see you, even if it's the first time you've ever met. And that vibe is everything. By pretending you already like the person, you bypass your own awkwardness too. You stop focusing on yourself and your nerves. You stop overthinking what to say. You show up with ease and warmth, and people feel it. They respond. They lean in. They mirror that same warmth back to you. That's the power of "Hello, old friend." It's a mindset that transforms how you walk into a room and how others receive you. It makes you the kind of person people are glad to meet, someone they want to keep talking to, even if they don't know why. So next time you're about to meet someone new, pause for just a second. Imagine there's someone you care about. Let your smile rise naturally. Let your tone soften. Let your posture open. And then step forward, not like a stranger but like an old friend. Because sometimes all it takes to make a powerful impression is pretending you already did. Chapter 10. The Big Baby Pivot. How to give your body a friendly echo. Ever noticed how toddlers react when you give them your full, undivided attention? They light up. They lean in. They know they matter. Leil Lowndes says that adults, no matter how confident or successful, still carry that deep-rooted need to feel seen, heard, and valued. And that's where the Big Baby Pivot comes in. This chapter introduces a subtle but powerful body language technique that shows others they have your full attention. It's deceptively simple. When someone starts speaking to you, especially for the first time, pivot your body toward them completely. Not just your head, not just your shoulders. Turn your entire torso toward them, like a child would if their favorite person walked into the room. Why does this matter? Because in that small physical gesture, you're communicating something most people desperately crave. You matter. I'm here. I'm listening. It tells the person they're not an interruption or a background player, they're the main focus. And that makes them feel special. Leil compares it to how a baby reacts when you give them full attention versus a distracted glance. When you give half your body, say keeping your laptop open or your phone in hand, people feel that. Even if you're technically listening, your body is saying, "I've got one foot out the door." But when you pivot fully, you're saying, "You have all of me right now." This move also does something unexpected. It builds instant rapport. People tend to mirror body language, even without realizing it. So when you give them full presence, they often respond in kind. You create a moment of mutual respect and openness, the perfect foundation for meaningful conversation. But this isn't just about turning your shoulders. The real magic happens in the delay. When someone enters your space and begins to speak, let them say a word or two first. Then slowly pivot your body toward them, as if their voice drew you in. That moment of delay makes your attention feel earned, which makes it more powerful. Leil warns us not to overdo it. You're not lunging at the person. You're not swinging around dramatically. It's a subtle, smooth pivot, a shift that feels natural and welcoming. The goal is intimacy without intrusion, presence without pressure. She also points out that this move works wonders in a group setting. If you're in a circle and someone joins or starts speaking, doing the pivot even slightly makes them feel included. It's a silent social signal that says, "You're part of this now. We see you." The big baby pivot also has another hidden benefit. It puts you in control of your own energy. When you turn fully to someone, you naturally tune out distractions. You stop thinking about your to-do list or what's happening on your phone. You become more present, and that presence sharpens your listening and deepens the connection. In short, your body becomes a mirror that reflects value back to the other person. No fancy words needed. Just the simple act of turning fully, making eye contact, and letting your body say, "You matter right now." That's what people remember. So next time someone speaks to you, especially someone new, don't just glance at them. Give them the big baby pivot. Make your whole body a yes. And watch how that tiny movement opens doors to better conversations, stronger connections, and moments that actually matter. Chapter 11, Echoing. The subtle art of making people feel heard. There's something powerful about hearing your own words echoed back to you, not in a parroting way, but in a way that says, "I'm with you." That's what Chapter 11 teaches. How a simple, almost invisible communication habit, echoing, can instantly build trust and deepen rapport in conversation. Echoing isn't about copying someone word for word. It's about picking up a key phrase or emotionally charged word someone uses and gently repeating it back to them with genuine curiosity. When you do this right, it sends a strong subconscious signal that you're tuned in, fully listening, fully present. And whether people know it or not, they feel it. Say someone mentions, "I'm exhausted from back-to-back meetings." Instead of just nodding or brushing past it, you respond with a soft reflection. Back-to-back meetings? It's not just about the words. It's about the tone, curious, supportive, a bit surprised. And just like that, the person feels heard. Not just tolerated, actually heard. This move taps into something deeply human. Everyone wants to feel like their words land somewhere, that they don't vanish into thin air. When you reflect a bit of what they said, it feels validating. You're not judging or fixing, just acknowledging. And that tiny act makes people open up more, trust you faster, and enjoy the interaction more deeply. It's most effective when used sparingly and naturally, particularly when the other person shares something personal, emotional, or important. You don't want to echo every sentence. That turns the charm into a gimmick. Used too often, it sounds robotic, even manipulative. But when dropped into the conversation at the right moments, it creates an almost magical effect. The speaker feels seen and understood. Echoing works especially well in conversations with quiet, introverted, or guarded people. It's a non-threatening way of encouraging them to share more without putting them on the spot. Instead of asking rapid-fire questions or jumping into your own story, you're holding space for them to stay in theirs. If someone says, "I'm thinking of taking a break from work," and you simply respond, "A break," they'll often keep talking. And what follows is usually deeper, more authentic. Lowndes also emphasizes the importance of tone. The way you echo matters as much as what you echo. Your voice should carry emotion that matches the moment, whether it's warmth, surprise, empathy, or enthusiasm. A flat tone turns the technique into mimicry, but a thoughtful tone transforms it into connection. And the best part? You don't have to be an expert on any topic to use echoing. You don't need clever comebacks, and you don't need to dominate the conversation. All you need is the willingness to listen closely, not just to words but to meaning. When you repeat keywords that hold emotional weight, it shows that you value the person's perspective. Echoing might seem too simple to be effective, but that's the beauty of it. It's subtle, elegant, and most people don't realize you're doing it. They just walk away feeling good about themselves and about you. So, in your next conversation, try it. Listen for one or two emotionally resonant words. Echo them gently with a spark of curiosity, and then pause. Let the other person fill the space. You'll be surprised how quickly they open up, and how easily they connect with you. Because when you repeat someone's words with care, not mimicry, you give them a priceless gift, the feeling of being truly heard. Chapter 12. Complete the sentences. Let them know you're in sync. In the subtle dance of conversation, there's one move that instantly signals connection: finishing someone's sentence. But here's the twist. It's not about showing off how fast you are or stealing the spotlight. It's about letting the other person feel like you get them, that you're walking beside their thoughts, not racing ahead of them. Lowndes dives into this technique by showing how completing someone's sentence, when done right, can create an invisible bridge of understanding. When two people are on the same wavelength, finishing each other's thoughts isn't interruptive. It's intimate. It tells the speaker, "I'm following you. I'm with you. Keep going." But here's the catch. Timing and tone are everything. You don't just barrel in with the ending you think they're heading toward. You wait for the right cues, the hesitation, the searching eyes, the slight pause that says, "I'm looking for the word." And then gently you offer the phrase, like handing someone the next piece of their puzzle. Imagine someone says, "I've been working on this project for weeks and still haven't hit that moment where it just clicks." And you chime in, "The breakthrough." Their eyes light up. Yes, the breakthrough. Just like that, you've created a tiny moment of alignment. It's not about stealing their sentence. It's about completing their thought with care. Of course, misuse this and it backfires. If you jump in too fast, cut someone off, or guess wrong, you risk sounding arrogant or dismissive. That's why Lowndes stresses this point. You only finish sentences that trail off. Never interrupt a complete idea. Never hijack the conversation. And if you guess wrong, laugh it off and invite correction. That keeps things light and collaborative, not awkward. This technique shines in emotionally charged conversations. When someone's searching for words to express frustration, excitement, or uncertainty. If they say, "I just feel like I'm constantly running in circles," and you softly add, "like you're stuck on a treadmill," it tells them you're not just hearing their words, you're hearing their experience. Finishing sentences also builds rhythm in conversation. It's like jazz. You're not trying to lead every note, but when you hear a gap, you know when to jump in and add harmony. That rhythm builds rapport, especially with people who value emotional connection and subtle affirmation. One of the most charming parts of this technique is its versatility. You can use it with friends, colleagues, family, even strangers. Anywhere people appreciate empathy and mental alignment. It's especially useful in team dynamics or brainstorming sessions where you're trying to show solidarity and shared thinking. But remember, the goal isn't to impress. It's to connect. You're not showing how clever you are. You're showing how much you care to understand. And that, in a world full of talkers, is rare and magnetic. So next time someone trails off mid-thought, don't rush. Tune in. Offer a phrase, a word, a gentle finish. And when they smile and nod and say, "Exactly," you'll know you nailed it. Not the sentence, the connection. Chapter 13. Never the naked thank you, dressing your gratitude in meaning. There's something off about a plain thank you. It's nice, polite, expected, but it often lands with a thud. Why? Because it's empty. It has no weight, no feeling, no depth. Leil Lowndes calls this the naked thank you. And once you notice it, you'll see how often people strip their gratitude bare. It's like handing someone a cold handshake when you could have given them a warm hug. Lowndes insists that if you really want your appreciation to stick, you need to dress your thank you. Add something. Give it context. Make it personal. Because what people really crave, even more than acknowledgement, is meaning. They don't want to hear they did something good. They want to know why it mattered and how it helped. So instead of tossing out a lifeless thanks, consider what you're really grateful for. Let's say someone held the elevator for you. You could just nod and say thanks, or you could smile and say, "Thanks, you saved me from having to wait another 5 minutes." Suddenly, that small moment becomes a shared experience. You didn't just appreciate the action, you appreciated them. That's the difference. Lowndes doesn't just stop there. She nudges us to go a step further. If someone gives you advice, instead of a quick thank you, say, "Thank you. That really helped me make my decision." If someone introduces you to a contact, say, "Thanks for the intro. You always seem to know exactly the right people to connect." You're not just acknowledging the favor. You're acknowledging their value. That's what people remember. That's what makes you stand out. Here's what happens when you make this a habit. People start to feel seen. And when people feel seen, they naturally like you more. They want to help you again. They talk about you in a positive way. Why? Because your gratitude didn't feel mechanical. It felt sincere and specific. Think about how rare that is. How many thank yous have you gotten today that actually meant something? Probably none. Most of us are drowning in polite but meaningless appreciation. So when someone takes 5 seconds to dress their thank you, to make it unique, emotional, and real, it slices through the noise. And no, it's not about overdoing it or sounding fake. You're not trying to flatter. You're trying to connect. A simple, honest addition is all it takes. Just don't leave it naked. Never leave it naked. It's that extra sentence, the because you always, or that helped me, or you didn't have to, but that turns a dull thank you into something someone remembers for days. And that's what this trick is really about, memorability. Lowndes wants you to master the kind of communication that lingers in people's minds. And there's nothing forgettable about a thank you that feels like a small gift, wrapped with meaning and delivered with warmth. So the next time someone does something for you, anything big or small, pause before you let thanks slip out of your mouth. Think, feel, then speak. Give them a thank you that actually feels like a thank you. One that dresses them in appreciation. One that sticks. Chapter 14. Be a word detective. Listen for clues to their preferred topic. There's a secret code in every conversation. A hidden set of clues tucked away inside what people say, and how they say it. If you want to be a master communicator, you've got to start listening like a detective. That's the idea behind Chapter 14, where Leil Lowndes teaches us one of the most powerful people skills of all. The ability to decode what someone really wants to talk about. People reveal their interests constantly, not just in what they say but in the energy behind it. You can hear it in their tone, their pace, the way their eyes light up or their body leans forward. They might be talking about work, but their voice lifts when they mention their weekend plans. They might mention their kids in passing but suddenly go into detail when they talk about a school play. These are your clues. These are the golden threads you follow. Lowndes emphasizes, great conversationalists aren't always the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who listen the best. And they don't just listen for words. They listen for windows. When someone casually drops a topic, they're inviting you to step through that window and ask more. They're offering a breadcrumb trail to the conversation they want to have. For example, if someone says, "It's been a crazy morning. Had to drop my daughter off at school before a meeting," you could just nod and keep going. But a word detective would catch the phrase "my daughter" and ask, "Oh yeah? How old is she?" That simple follow-up shows interest in their life, not just their schedule. It pivots the conversation from surface level to personal. Lowndes even suggests training your ear for patterns. Everyone has their pet subjects. Some people light up when they talk about travel. Others come alive when discussing food, or sports, or pets, or side projects. And the fastest way to build connection is to meet someone in their favorite world. Not yours, theirs. But this doesn't mean prying. It means being perceptive. Instead of dominating the conversation or steering it to your comfort zone, you're tuning into the little signals that say, "I care about this." Then you follow up. You show interest. You allow them to expand. This skill does 2 big things. First, it makes people feel good around you because we all love talking about what lights us up. Second, it builds rapport faster than almost anything else. Why? Because it makes people feel seen. You're not just listening. You're listening well enough to notice what matters to them. That's rare. That's powerful. The beauty of this technique is that it works everywhere. At networking events, on dates, in meetings, even casual elevator chats. Wherever there's small talk, there's an opportunity to be a word detective. All you have to do is pay attention. Scan for the emotional spikes in someone's language. Listen for the shift in energy. Then follow that trail with genuine curiosity. Lowndes reminds us that every person has a story, and they're always dropping hints about which chapter they want to read aloud. The ones who build deep, lasting relationships, they're the ones who listen for those hints and respond with interest, not indifference. So don't just hear people, read them. Listen not only to what they're saying but to what they're really saying. The next time you're in conversation, become a quiet investigator. Look for that spark, that lift in their voice, that subtle smile. And when you see it, follow it. That's where the real connection lives. Chapter 15. Echo the emotion. Mirror their mood and words to connect instantly. Some people seem to instantly click with anyone they meet. They strike up conversations that feel effortless, even with strangers. What's their secret? According to Leil Lowndes, one of the most subtle yet powerful tricks for building rapport lies in mirroring. Not just what people say, but how they feel when they say it. In Chapter 15, Lowndes introduces the idea of echoing emotion. It's a method of making people feel deeply understood by subtly matching their tone, pace, and emotional energy. When someone shares a thought or experience, they're not just offering you words. They're sharing a feeling underneath those words. If you want to bond with them, you need to reflect that emotion back. Let's say someone tells you, "I just got promoted at work." You could respond with, "Oh, cool," and leave it at that. But that doesn't echo the excitement in their voice. Now imagine you say, "That's amazing, congratulations," with the same kind of enthusiasm they used. That simple mirroring creates a sense of shared emotion. Tells the other person, "I get you. I'm with you in this moment." Lowndes emphasizes that this kind of mirroring is about more than just parroting back words. It's about matching energy. If someone speaks in a slow, serious tone about something troubling, jumping in with loud excitement can feel jarring and dismissive. But if you lower your voice and respond with a tone that matches their mood, "Wow, that sounds really tough. What happened?" They'll feel you're aligned with them emotionally. This technique works because of something deep in human psychology. We like people who are like us. And when you mirror someone's emotion, you're giving off the subtle signal that you're emotionally attuned. It doesn't require a deep background in psychology or a list of questions. Just your full attention and a willingness to join them where they are. Echoing emotion doesn't mean faking it. In fact, people can sniff out fake enthusiasm or sympathy in seconds. The key is to genuinely tune in. Notice the emotional flavor of their words. Is it joy, frustration, pride, anxiety? And then let your response reflect that feeling naturally. Don't rush to change the subject or fix anything. Just echo, reflect, hold space. Lowndes also warns against emotional mismatches, the fast way to kill rapport. For example, if someone is visibly upset and you respond with jokes or indifference, you're sending a signal that you're out of sync. That disconnect makes people shut down. On the flip side, when you reflect their emotional state, even quietly, you create what Lowndes calls instant intimacy. This tactic is especially powerful in tense or emotional conversations. Maybe a colleague is stressed about a deadline, or a friend is overwhelmed by a personal issue. Echoing their mood without judgment helps them feel supported. It's not about solving the problem. It's about letting them know, you're not alone in this feeling. Echoing can be verbal, repeating key emotional words like excited, nervous, or relieved. But it can also be nonverbal. A knowing nod, matching facial expressions, or mirroring posture. It's subtle, but the human brain picks up on it instantly. And here's the twist. When people feel emotionally mirrored, they open up. They share more. They trust more. Because you've shown without needing to say it that you're safe. That you understand. So the next time you want to connect, really connect, stop trying to impress with your stories or advice. Instead, become a mirror. Echo the feeling. Match the mood. Reflect their emotional world with care and presence. That's what makes someone feel heard. That's what makes conversations stick. And that's what builds deep, authentic relationships, one emotion at a time. Chapter 16. Never the naked thank you. Add substance to your appreciation. We all say thank you dozens of times a day. For favors, compliments, coffee, doors held open, and more. But according to Leil Lowndes, a plain old thank you, what she calls a naked thank you, is a missed opportunity. In Chapter 16, she introduces a subtle yet powerful way to deepen relationships through one simple tweak. Dressing up your gratitude. A naked thank you is flat. It's polite, sure. But it doesn't leave much of an emotional footprint. It's like answering fine. When someone asks how your day was, it closes the door on connection instead of opening it. Lowndes urges us to never let a thank you stand alone. Instead, she says, attach a reason. Add a sentence. Explain what the gesture meant to you. That's what makes people feel truly appreciated. Imagine someone hands you a report ahead of a meeting. A quick thanks acknowledges the act, but it barely scratches the surface. Now imagine you say, thanks for getting this to me so quickly. I know you had a lot on your plate today. That kind of response doesn't just acknowledge the action. It recognizes the effort behind it. And recognition is the fuel of strong, lasting relationships. Lowndes points out that everyone, from coworkers to cashiers, craves appreciation that feels specific and sincere. It's not about flattery or fluffed-up praise. It's about noticing. A thank you that says, "Thanks for your help" is polite. But one that says, "Thanks for explaining that so clearly, you made it way easier for me to move forward," creates connection. It tells the other person their contribution mattered. The magic formula? Thank you plus what they did plus why it mattered. This small verbal upgrade transforms routine politeness into emotional deposits. Over time, these deposits stack up into trust, goodwill, and rapport, especially in environments where people often feel unseen or underappreciated. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't limited to the workplace. It works in every area of life. Tell your partner, "Thanks for picking up dinner. It made my night so much easier." Tell your kid, "Thanks for taking the trash out without me asking. I really appreciated that." Tell the server, "Thanks for being so attentive. You made this a great experience." These tiny shifts signal to people, "I see you. I value you." Lowndes also notes that this kind of thank you isn't just good manners. It's emotional intelligence in action. It shows you're tuned in to the efforts and feelings of others, not just the results. And people remember how you make them feel, not just what you say. When your appreciation has depth, your relationships gain depth too. This practice does something else too. It teaches you to be more observant, to pay attention to what others are doing right, to notice contributions that are often invisible. And that kind of mindset shift, from passive politeness to active appreciation, makes you more magnetic in every room you enter. So ditch the naked thank you. Dress it up. Add a reason, an observation, a compliment, a moment of truth. Make it personal. Make it land. When you do, every thank you becomes a brick in the foundation of connection. And people will walk away from your conversations not just feeling appreciated but seen. Chapter 17. The knee-jerk wow. Let people savor their moments. In Chapter 17, Leil Lowndes shifts our attention to a subtle yet powerful part of conversation: how we respond when someone shares their good news. Whether it's a promotion, a new car, or even something small like getting a reservation at a fancy restaurant, how you react in that exact moment says a lot about your emotional intelligence and your likability. The common mistake people make, Lowndes points out, is jumping in too quickly. That knee-jerk wow, that's amazing, might feel enthusiastic on the surface, but it often robs the other person of their moment to bask. Instead of creating a space for the person to share more, it closes the door too soon. What's the alternative? Simple. Pause. Let them enjoy their moment. Give them room to savor their success. Instead of immediately reacting with your own excitement or trying to top their story with one of your own, Lowndes encourages you to let the moment breathe. Let's say someone tells you, "I just got promoted to VP." The reflex might be to jump in with, "Oh my God, that's incredible. You totally deserve it." Not a bad response, but not a memorable one either. Now imagine you take a half-second pause, look them in the eye and say, "That's fantastic. Tell me more. How did it happen?" That moment of reflection and curiosity is far more powerful than a generic high-five response. You're not just hearing the news, you're honoring it. This pause communicates respect. It tells the person that their joy matters and that you're truly listening, not just reacting. When you delay your praise just enough to invite more detail, you're also giving them the spotlight, and people love that. They open up, they share more, and suddenly you've created a real connection. Lowndes also cautions against immediately one-upping their news. Don't respond to, "I'm getting married next year," with, "Oh wow, my cousin's wedding last year was insane. They had fireworks and a floating DJ booth." Even if you mean well, it shifts the focus away from their joy and back onto you. Instead, keep the attention where it belongs. Respond with curiosity, not competition. The same principle applies to everyday wins. If a coworker says, "I finished that tricky project," resist the urge to jump in with your own story about something harder. Ask, "How did you figure it out?" Or "What part was the toughest?" These kinds of questions deepen the interaction, showing you care about their process, not just the result. Lowndes calls this a form of social grace, the art of celebrating with someone rather than for them. It's the difference between sharing the stage and stealing it. And it all starts with one small habit. Don't rush the response. Let them lead. Let them glow. Let them talk. When you master this technique, you become someone people feel safe and excited to talk to. They know that when they bring you their joy, you won't overshadow it. You'll amplify it. You'll help them feel like the main character in their own story. And that's a rare gift. So next time someone shares their good news with you, hold back your automatic wow for just a beat. Let them unfold the moment. Then meet their energy with your full attention. It's a small adjustment, but one that pays huge dividends in rapport, trust, and emotional connection. Chapter 18, The Eyebrow Flash. Give the silent signal of recognition. In Chapter 18, Leil Lowndes introduces a subtle lightning-fast gesture that communicates warmth, familiarity, and friendliness without a single word. It's something you've likely done your whole life, but probably without realizing its psychological power. It's called the eyebrow flash. The eyebrow flash is a quick, unconscious upward flick of the eyebrows that humans instinctively use to signal recognition. It lasts less than a second, but in that moment it can say, "I see you. I know you. You matter." Babies recognize it. Strangers soften because of it. Friends feel acknowledged by it. It's one of those primal, silent social cues that short-circuits formality and taps into instant connection. According to Lowndes, using the eyebrow flash intentionally is like having a superpower in your nonverbal toolbox. When you spot someone you know, even distantly, giving them a quick eyebrow flash as they approach tells them you're glad to see them before you ever say a word. It's not just about acknowledgement. It creates rapport. Now here's the kicker. Most people do this naturally with people they feel close to. Their family, their best friends. But they don't always do it with strangers, colleagues, or acquaintances. That's the opportunity. By being conscious of this micro-movement, you can deploy it to warm up even the most formal or distant interactions. Picture yourself walking into a room. Maybe it's a networking event, a meeting, a party. Instead of nervously looking away or waiting to see if someone notices you, Lowndes suggests you take the lead. The moment you make eye contact with someone, lift your eyebrows just slightly, flash a small smile, and then carry on. It sounds tiny, but the effects are huge. You've non-verbally told them, "I see you. I recognize you. I'm open to you." Most people will instinctively mirror the gesture, and just like that, connection. Lowndes even points out that this works across cultures. The eyebrow flash, paired with a natural smile, is one of those rare gestures that breaks barriers. It's not intense. It's not overbearing. It's friendly, casual, and safe. It doesn't require confidence or status, just awareness. And the best part? You can use it in a million contexts. Spot someone down the hall at work? Eyebrow flash. See someone at the grocery store who looks vaguely familiar? Eyebrow flash. Want to signal friendliness to a customer or client? Eyebrow flash. It's almost like waving hello with your face, without having to say a word. Lowndes also warns against being too dramatic with it. You're not trying to do comedy-level eyebrow acrobatics. It's about subtlety. The magic is in how effortless it looks, like you naturally respond to seeing that person. Too exaggerated and it loses its power. But just the right touch, you become instantly more approachable, more charismatic, and more likable. So next time you're about to greet someone, or even just pass them by, don't underestimate the power of your face. Lift those eyebrows, flash a smile, and let your expression say what words can't. You're welcome here. Chapter 19, The Big Baby Pivot. Let your body say, "I like you." In this chapter, Leil Lowndes pulls back the curtain on one of the most overlooked yet impactful nonverbal gestures. How your body orientation signals your feelings about someone, sometimes louder than your words ever could. She calls it the big baby pivot, and once you understand it, you'll start noticing how powerful and revealing this one move really is. Think about how you greet a baby or a puppy. Your entire body turns toward them. Your head, shoulders, hips, knees, everything pivots to face them. Why? Because you're fully present, fully focused, and emotionally open. You're telling them with your entire body, "You have my attention. You matter." That's the energy Lowndes wants you to replicate. Not just with babies, but with everyone you meet. Most people, without realizing it, greet others halfway. You know the move. Someone approaches and you glance up, smile, maybe nod, but your torso stays put. Maybe your phone's in your hand, or your body is turned slightly away. It's unintentional, but it reads as lukewarm. And that's exactly what the other person feels, even if they don't consciously register it. The big baby pivot is about deliberately turning your full body toward someone the moment they enter your space. Whether they're walking into a room or joining a group conversation, your pivot becomes a loud, silent message. I'm happy to see you. It's not just about politeness. It's about inclusion. Lowndes explains that people are constantly, and subconsciously, scanning for social cues that tell them whether they're accepted, valued, or ignored. When someone walks into a room and sees you pivot toward them even slightly, they feel that magnetic pull. They feel seen. And when people feel seen, they like you more. This technique is particularly powerful in group settings. Imagine you're talking with two colleagues and a third person approaches. If you keep your torso fixed on the people you're already speaking to, the newcomer feels like an outsider. But if you slightly pivot your body to open the circle, even just by shifting your feet or turning your shoulders, the message is clear. We welcome you into this space. And that's the beauty of it. The big baby pivot isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's subtle, warm, and incredibly effective. Lowndes calls it one of the fastest ways to build rapport without saying a word. Another brilliant aspect of the pivot is that it strengthens your first impressions. If someone sees you pivot toward them, even for a quick handshake or a hello, they're likely to remember you more fondly. Why? Because you made them feel like the center of attention, even if just for a moment. And people never forget how you made them feel. But here's a small warning. The pivot must be genuine. If your body turns but your eyes drift, or your tone lacks warmth, the gesture feels mechanical. That's why Lowndes emphasizes practicing it until it becomes second nature. The goal isn't to be theatrical. It's to be present. Whether it's greeting a client, welcoming a coworker, or even just acknowledging your barista at the coffee shop, doing the big baby pivot consistently makes you stand out. Not because you said the right words, but because your presence did all the talking. So try it. Next time someone approaches, turn your body fully. Face them like you would a toddler waddling toward you with their arms open. Give them your eyes, your shoulders, and your smile. That moment of full-bodied attention builds trust faster than any clever conversation ever could. Chapter 20. Hello, old friend. Make everyone feel they're your long-lost buddy. In this chapter, Leil Lowndes dives into one of the most instantly disarming and likable communication tricks you can use. Treating everyone you meet as if they're an old friend. Sounds simple, right? But the effect is powerful because when you act like someone is already in your inner circle, they naturally begin to feel like they belong there. It's called the hello old friend technique, and it's rooted in basic human psychology. People don't just want to be liked, they want to feel familiar. They want to feel like they're understood, appreciated, and accepted without having to prove anything. When you give them that sense right from the first hello, you create an emotional shortcut to trust. Lowndes points out that we tend to hold back with people we don't know well. We use guarded body language, polite but distant expressions, and a reserved tone of voice. But when you greet someone you already like, a friend you haven't seen in years, your eyes light up. Your voice gets warmer. Your whole demeanor shifts. And that's exactly the vibe you want to replicate, even with strangers. You don't need a big, dramatic reunion moment. It's not about faking anything. It's about tapping into the emotional energy you'd naturally give a close friend and applying it to new interactions. So when you see someone walking toward you, especially for the first time, try this. Smile like you're genuinely happy to see them, raise your eyebrows just slightly in recognition, and use a tone that says, "It's so good to see you again," even if you've never met before. This approach completely flips the social script. Instead of two people cautiously sizing each other up, you're extending warmth and welcome right from the start. It doesn't just make you more likable, it makes the other person more open, more relaxed, and more interested in you. Lowndes gives a great example. Think about how you answer the phone when your best friend calls versus when an unknown number pops up. Your voice is completely different, right? That's the kind of warmth and enthusiasm you want to project, not in an over-the-top way, but in a way that says, "You're important to me." The hello old friend technique also works wonders when reconnecting with people you've only met once or twice. Instead of awkwardly pretending to remember every detail, just dive in with friendly familiarity. Say things like, "It's so great to see you again," or "I've been meaning to catch up with you." Whether or not the relationship is deep, the emotional tone makes people feel valued, and that makes all the difference. But here's a critical note. Authenticity matters. You can't force this vibe if you're not genuinely interested in connecting. If you're faking warmth or forcing charm, people will feel it, and it will backfire. The real power of this trick lies in truly treating people with the respect, kindness, and appreciation you'd give to someone you care about. And remember, you don't need a detailed memory of the person or a shared history to pull this off. What matters most is your energy, your expression, your openness. When you greet someone with that kind of warmth, it invites them into your world. It says, "You matter here." So whether you're walking into a networking event, meeting a client, reconnecting with an acquaintance, or greeting a new colleague, practice saying hello like you're welcoming an old friend. It costs nothing, but it yields loyalty, attention, and trust that most people spend years trying to earn. Chapter 21. Limit the fidget, how to look calm and command respect. In this chapter, Leil Lowndes zooms in on something so subtle, yet so powerful, it can instantly elevate or destroy the way others perceive you. Fidgeting. You may not even notice when you're doing it. Twirling a pen, tapping your foot, adjusting your watch, scratching your neck. Little movements, right? But they send big messages, usually the wrong ones. People who fidget come across as nervous, distracted, or unsure of themselves. And even if that's not how you actually feel, that's the impression you're giving off. In contrast, people who limit their fidgeting appear more composed, confident, and in control. This is what Lowndes wants you to master. The ability to stay still with intention, creating a presence that commands respect without saying a word. Think of someone truly charismatic. They're not bouncing their leg or shifting in their chair constantly. They move with purpose, not nervous energy. Their stillness creates a kind of gravitational pull. People lean in. They listen. They take them seriously. That's not just coincidence. It's nonverbal communication at its peak. Lowndes emphasizes that when you're in the spotlight, whether walking into a room, delivering a point in conversation, or just meeting someone new, every move matters. If your hands are fluttering or you're shifting your weight constantly, your words lose some of their power. But if you stand still, shoulders relaxed, hands calm, you radiate confidence. And no, you don't have to freeze like a statue. The goal isn't rigidity, it's intentional stillness. Your gestures should feel natural and meaningful, not constant or unconscious. When you do move to emphasize a point, greet someone, or express emotion, it has weight. People notice because you haven't been moving nonstop already. One of Lowndes' best pieces of advice here is to become aware of your go-to fidgets. Everyone has them. Maybe you play with your rings, crack your knuckles, adjust your glasses too often. Start paying attention in conversations, on Zoom calls, even when you're alone. Catching yourself is the first step toward control. The next step? Practice stillness. Before you walk into a room, take a breath and release any jittery energy. When you speak, try pausing instead of filling silence with movement. If you're sitting, plant your feet flat and relax your shoulders. If you're standing, distribute your weight evenly and resist the urge to sway or rock. Lowndes even recommends rehearsing in front of a mirror or on camera. Watch your own body language. Does it align with the message you want to send? Would you follow someone who fidgets constantly? Probably not. So don't give others a reason to question your confidence. Here's the key takeaway. People trust stillness. It communicates security, strength, and clarity. It draws people in. Fidgeting, on the other hand, distracts, creates doubt, and weakens your impact. And the beauty of this trick is that once you master it, it becomes part of your presence. Something you carry with you into every room, every conversation, every opportunity. So the next time you're gearing up to meet someone important, give a presentation, or just want to come off as the most grounded person in the room, do less. Be still. Let your calm speak louder than the noise around you. Chapter 22. Smile, but only when it makes sense. Smiling is a universal sign of warmth and friendliness, but Leil Lowndes wants you to know that how and when you smile matters just as much as the smile itself. In Chapter 22, she introduces a concept that flips the typical advice on its head. Don't smile immediately when you greet someone. Instead, delay it just slightly, and that's what makes all the difference. Most people have been trained to flash a big automatic grin the second they meet someone. It's polite, it's welcoming, and it feels like the right thing to do. But according to Lowndes, that kind of instant reflexive smile can actually come off as fake or forced. It looks like a habit, not a reaction. And people can sense that. What she suggests is deceptively simple. When you first meet someone, look at them for a second, take them in, and then let a genuine smile slowly spread across your face. That slight pause gives the impression that your smile is specifically for them. It tells the other person, "I'm happy to see you," not just "I smile at everyone." This subtle delay creates what Lowndes calls the big warm smile effect. It makes you seem more sincere, thoughtful, and emotionally intelligent. People read your reaction as authentic because it doesn't feel automatic, it feels earned. You're not just broadcasting positivity, you're responding to the person in front of you. It's the same psychological trick that makes delayed laughter feel real in a conversation. When someone pauses for a beat and then laughs, it feels like your joke really landed, like it had an impact. The same principle applies with smiles. Lowndes also points out that when you smile too quickly and too often, you risk being perceived as insecure or trying too hard. Think about people who are constantly smiling. It starts to feel like a mask, a defense mechanism, or a people-pleasing reflex. But when you hold back just a moment and let the smile come naturally, it carries weight. Another key point: let the smile reach your eyes. A smile that doesn't touch your eyes is easy to spot and instantly forgettable. But when your entire face lights up, when your eyes crinkle and your expression softens, that's the kind of connection people remember. It signals warmth, openness, and authenticity. In practical terms, the next time you're introduced to someone, in a meeting, networking event, or even a casual social setting, pause. Make brief, direct eye contact. Let your expression be neutral for a moment. And then smile slow and intentional. It may feel awkward at first, but watch how people respond. That subtle shift changes the dynamic. People feel like you see them, not just perform a greeting for them. The overarching message in this chapter is that timing is power. And when it comes to social cues like smiling, purpose beats reflex. A delayed smile, one that feels earned rather than automatic, builds instant rapport and makes you more memorable. In a world full of empty grins and robotic greetings, being deliberate with your smile sets you apart. You'll come off as more genuine, more human. And in any kind of relationship, that's your real edge. Chapter 23, Hang by Your Teeth, the Instant Posture Upgrade. In this chapter, Leil Lowndes focuses on something most people overlook when trying to impress others: their posture. She explains how your physical presence speaks louder than your words, especially when it comes to the subtle cues people pick up about your confidence and charisma. Here's the trick she shares. Imagine you're hanging by your teeth from a hook in the ceiling. That image alone will instantly make you straighten up. Your spine lengthens, your shoulders roll back, your chest opens up, and your head lifts, all without looking stiff or robotic. It's a quirky mental image, but it works like magic. Lowndes points out that poor posture, slouching, drooping shoulders, a forward head, can quietly sabotage the impression you're trying to make. You may be dressed well, smiling, and saying all the right things, but if your body screams, "I'm unsure," or "I don't want to be here," that's what people will remember. When you adopt the hang by your teeth posture, your whole vibe shifts. You look more alive, more self-assured. And the best part? You don't need to overthink it or constantly check yourself in mirrors. Just recall that mental image, your molars gripping an invisible hook, and your body adjusts almost automatically. There's a reason this trick is so powerful. Posture is part of what psychologists call nonverbal dominance, a set of subtle body language cues that project authority and self-respect. Think about leaders, celebrities, or public speakers you admire. They don't slump or fidget. They take up space. They hold themselves tall. They look like they belong in any room they enter. Lowndes is careful to note that this isn't about being intimidating or fake confident. It's about owning your space in a way that makes people trust your presence. When you walk into a room upright and energized, people take notice. You don't have to say a word to establish credibility. Your body does the talking. And posture doesn't just change how others see you, it changes how you see yourself. Standing tall makes you feel more in control. You breathe better. Your voice projects more clearly. Your thoughts feel sharper. It's like your brain takes cues from your body and says, "We've got this." This chapter encourages you to practice the posture trick in everyday life. Whether you're walking into a meeting, standing in line, or even just sitting in front of your computer, use it in moments when you want to reset your presence, especially before social or professional interactions. So the next time you feel yourself shrinking, physically or emotionally, pause. Visualize that invisible hook lifting you up by your teeth. Let your body align, let your confidence rise with it, and move through your day with the kind of presence that turns heads without trying too hard. Because in the end, it's not just what you say or how you say it, it's how you carry yourself that speaks volumes. Chapter 24. The Big Baby Pivot. Make them feel like the only one in the room. In Chapter 24, Leil Lowndes teaches one of the most disarming and respectful nonverbal techniques you can use in a conversation: the Big Baby Pivot. It's a small movement, but its psychological impact is enormous, especially in a world where distracted, half-present conversations are the norm. Here's the concept. When someone speaks to you, whether it's a casual chat, an introduction, or a full-blown conversation, don't just turn your head to face them. Instead, turn your entire body. Pivot toward them with full attention, like a baby does when it's excited and focused. Babies don't do partial attention. When they look at you, they pivot their whole bodies, wide-eyed and engaged. That's the energy you're channeling. Why does this work? Because it makes people feel seen. Most of us are so used to being barely acknowledged. A glance over the shoulder, a distracted nod, eyes darting back to a phone or screen. So when someone gives us their full, undivided body language, it feels rare, almost luxurious. It's a physical signal that says, "You matter right now. You have my complete attention." The Big Baby Pivot is about communicating presence without saying a word. And in social situations, presence is power. Whether you're meeting someone new at a networking event or reconnecting with an old friend, that subtle move of shifting your entire body toward them, hips, shoulders, knees, instantly changes the tone of the exchange. Lowndes makes it clear. This isn't about being theatrical. It's not a dramatic, sweeping motion. It's a gentle, deliberate pivot that aligns your whole self with the person speaking. You don't lean in aggressively. You don't force intensity. You just pivot and stay. This small shift makes the other person feel respected. It's the opposite of multitasking. It says, "I'm not waiting to talk to someone more important. Right now, you are the priority." She also warns against the opposite behavior, what she calls the busy person's lean. That's when someone half turns, barely lifts their head, and keeps their body facing away as if they're itching to move on. Even if their words are polite, their body screams, "You're not worth the effort." Most of us have experienced that kind of brush off, and it never feels good. What's powerful about the Big Baby Pivot is that it costs you nothing. No extra words, no flattery, no gimmicks, just attention. And attention, Lowndes reminds us, is one of the most underrated currencies in human connection. So whether you're at a coffee shop, a job interview, a family dinner, or a cocktail party, use the Big Baby Pivot. Make people feel like they're the only one in the room, even if just for a moment. That one gesture creates instant connection and a sense of intimacy that words alone can't achieve. Because when people feel genuinely seen, they relax. They open up. They remember you. And more importantly, they want to be around you again. Chapter 25. Hello, old friend. Make every greeting feel warm and familiar. In this chapter, Leil Lowndes breaks down one of the most powerful, yet often neglected, habits in human interaction: the way you greet someone. Most people underestimate just how much a first impression, or even a daily hello, can shape someone's entire perception of you. That's where her trick called "Hello, old friend" comes in. It's simple in theory but transformative in practice. Every time you greet someone, whether it's a stranger, a coworker, your boss, or even your partner, do it as if they were a dear friend you haven't seen in years. Not fake excitement, not over-the-top energy, but genuine warmth, like you're truly glad to see them again. Think about how you greet someone you love. Your face lights up. Your voice has a little spark. Your body subtly leans in. There's energy. There's affection in your tone, even if your words are ordinary. That's what you want to replicate, even with people you don't know well yet. Lowndes emphasizes that most greetings in our daily lives are painfully flat. People mutter "hey" or give a half-hearted wave, their faces emotionless, their eyes darting around the room. That lack of presence sends a clear message: you're not that important to me. But when someone greets you like you're genuinely valued, it lights something up in you. You can't help but respond with your own warmth. This isn't about faking anything. It's about tapping into the energy you already have, but don't always show. It's about shifting from autopilot to intentionality. about treating every person like they matter because in that moment they do. The hello old friend technique works wonders in professional settings too. Imagine how powerful it feels when a colleague, client, or boss greets you with that extra touch of warmth. Like they're not just acknowledging your presence, but welcoming it. It builds instant rapport, lowers defenses, and makes you unforgettable. Lowndes also reminds us that this warmth doesn't only live in your voice. It's in your facial expression, especially the eyes. Your eyes should smile, even if your mouth is saying something ordinary. A quick mental trick she suggests. Before greeting someone, imagine they just told you amazing news. Your brain will light up slightly, and that will naturally reflect in your face and tone. The magic of this approach is how easily it spreads. Greet someone warmly, and they'll likely return the energy. Keep doing it, and it becomes your signature, the kind of person who makes others feel seen, appreciated, and uplifted within the first few seconds. That's influence. That's charisma. And that's how powerful small changes in communication can be. So the next time you say hello, pause. Take a breath. Then let your face, tone, and body language communicate something real. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. That's how connections are built, one warm greeting at a time.